Hello, Aries. This is AD with kayxztarot, and I'm going to be doing your August 2019 reading, guys. So last but not least, but thank you so much for your patience. Welcome back to the channel. If you're old, welcome, welcome. If you're new, we are so happy to have you here as we grow and expand. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, check out that description box below and information on how to book a personal reading with me. I am doing a $25 15-minute special, and that information is in the description box. And also, follow me on Instagram. I started doing dailies and weeklies and some pick-a-cards. I just did a pick-a-card reading for this new moon in a Leo. So if that's something that interests you, then you can tiptoe over to my Instagram. All right, and let's get into it, Aries. So yeah, oof, the Fool and the Eight of Wands. So you guys could be traveling. You are ready for this new beginning. Absolutely, positively. You've been waiting for it. And if your July looked like everybody else's July with all the eclipses and retrogrades, then you're certainly ready to, when will my life begin? Now. 3, 2, oops. And, all right. Oops. 1. I see a lot of union, Aries. I see a lot of coming into union. Work and could be romantic. Okay, I see both. Ooh, cat's out the bag. 7 of Swords to the Ace of Swords. Let me try that again. 7 of Swords to the Ace of Swords. Cat's out the bag. There has been some truth that's been revealed. What's done in the dark shall come to light, and man, did it come to light. This is a clear, like, secrets revealed. I'm not sure if this is your secret that was revealed or if a truth was revealed to you. Maybe you found something out from a friend. I'm not sure how that resonates. You'll have to let me know in the comment section. But you discovered some truth, something that someone, be it you or someone you were dealing with, was trying to keep a secret. All right. And because of the cards I saw earlier, it could have been like a work affair. Scandalous. Three. Oops. And 1. All right. Julio. All right, let's get into it. So the underlying energy we do have is the Magician. So again, like I said, and this is your energy. There's a new beginning. You're starting and you're just like, I am so confident that I am going to power through this next phase. I have all the tools with me in my toolbox in order to be successful. And I feel like you're just taking it. You're going for it. I don't, no holds barred. Like you're just moving towards whatever it is that wherever it is that you're going. And I feel like you're confident in doing it, you know. Let's see. We have the 8. You're confident in doing that. The 8 of Swords. The 2 of Pentacles. The 5 of Swords. The Justice card. The 10 of Swords. The Sun. That's a great card. The 9 of Swords. The King of Pentacles. And the 9 of Pentacles. Woo-wee! Aries, I feel like you have been through it, through the winger. I apologize for these readings not coming through. Man, my Venus is in Aries and stuff too. I was like, I'm Mars dominant, so I relate. I understand. Yeah, you've certainly been through it, but the cool thing is you're coming out of it. You're coming out of it beautifully like a rock star. And I feel like you've already felt that change. That's why you're so ready and so confident with the Magician to just get what you want. You have such this power of manifestation. And you know, it's funny because like with Aries energy, with fire energy, but particularly Aries, it's just like manifestation is a myth because Aries is like, I want it, I got it. Like there's no time to sit and wait and, oh, universe, please come help me, come down. Like it's like, no. I'm going to make sure that this gets done. And I feel like in the past, there was some sense of confusion as to what is it that you even want? Where do you want to go? What is it that you want to do? Okay. And there could have been miscommunications in the past about your finances, but you were weighing the pros and cons, but I feel like you were so in your head. And that was out of sorts. And again, July was such a crazy month, but it did provide everybody the opportunity to reflect and look back, you know, and hindsight is always 20/20. And that's something that Aries avoid doing. Right? Aries will just keep powering through it. So I feel like you had to come to the screeching halt in order to think about it, you know? And with this 5 of Swords here, there's been a change in your mental state, right? There could have been miscommunications in the past, but I feel like this is more so a change in your mental state. I feel like I'm getting that you're more of this guy right here. These people weren't tough enough. They couldn't hang. I rarely read this card this way, but you were around people who could not hang. You were around babies. And you were tired of it. So you're like, I'm moving on. I'm moving forward. I looked at that good side and that bad side and I'm done. Excuse me. So you're starting to move on and you're coming into balance with this Justice card here, which is awesome. Okay. Because I feel like that is what you didn't recognize that you were craving, but you realized that that's what you needed. You couldn't quite put your finger on it. You're like, why am I so off? Like, why can't I get it together? You realize, oh, I'm out of balance because of energies that are around me, or I really don't know where I'm going towards, but I'm just moving my feet, but I have no idea what the destination is. That's coming to an end, and you receive some sort of clarity in this in August, you know, which is beautiful with this Sun card here. This is the happiest card in the tarot next to one of the darker ones. So pretty interesting juxtaposition, but it's all about going from extreme to extreme in order to get to that balance, you know. So you had the 10 of Swords, which could be betrayal. For some of you guys, you realize that there was betrayal just with that thing that we saw earlier, particularly with a Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, or like a paternal figure, or somebody who maybe even a boss, a higher up, somebody who is pretty grounded, slow moving, maybe not the most affectionate person, but they're definitely a hard worker. If they're not an earth sign, then they can exhibit those qualities. But because of that, because you're able to release it and turn your back on it and walk away, or they walked away from you, you're happy. I'm happy. Leave me alone. Like, I don't get paid to argue with you. And that's exactly how you feel now. And you're ready to just get your energy towards what you want, and you're charging towards it, which is so beautiful, right? So we do have the 9 of Swords here. So this is, again, being in your head. But because the Justice card is in the middle of those two air energies, I feel like you spent a lot of time... You know, how do I word this? This is like, Aries, it's not offensive. It's just like thinking isn't your strong suit, you know, like being over analytical, like that's not your game. Like, leave that for the Geminis and the Virgos. Leave that for that's for the birds. It's not for you. Y'all are very action oriented. And I feel like because of everything that happened with the eclipses and stuff, you weren't, and that kind of knocked you off your rocker. And you're like, is it me? No, I think it was the universe, you know, and in reflecting, you were able to learn some things that you wouldn't have had you not been knocked on your ass for that time. But now it is, you're ready to take action again. And I feel like if you're putting that energy towards your career, for a lot of you, this is career oriented, then man, are you moving towards abundance? Okay. Are you ready to put in that work? You know, even though you are impulsive, you are action oriented, I feel like you're adapting kind of that Taurus energy. You're adopting the Capricorn energy, the Virgo energy, to make sure that you have your nose to the grindstone and you're being practical in your financial matters and building your stability, and that is your number one priority. And you want to do it smart. You don't want to rush into investments. You want to make sure, because probably in the past you learned that that wasn't the best for the long term, for the long run, as far as your finances, because you want to make sure that you're building and growing. Okay, so that has been such a deep priority for you, and you switched. And then we even have the 9 of Pentacles coming out, which is beautiful, right under the Sun card. So this is financial independence, being able to afford the things that you want to afford, living in kind of like the lap of luxury, and it's because you worked and you've earned it. So congratulations, Aries. This is such a great reading. But once you really get out of your head, you'll be able to realize how much you've learned from the situation and how independent you can truly be. And again, with the Magician being the underlying energy, and I'm going to brag on you for a second, it's just like action is so important. A lot of people have these thoughts. A lot of people think great, but very rarely do they act on it. And that's the cool thing about being a fire sign in particular. But really, that's the cool thing about having Aries, is because y'all are just, and again, I'm Mars dominant. So this is a compliment, but it's just like, we are just dumb enough to do it. You know, we're just dumb enough to like take that leap of faith because we really didn't think it through. But I feel like now, you, through this time of you taking taking this time to like really pause and reflect, you are smart enough because you actually plan, but you want to take that risk, if that makes sense. Where other people get tripped up because they're like start overthinking and all that other stuff, you don't necessarily have that problem. You had that problem, but what it did, and it provided you with a clear plan on how to move forward. But now that you have the energy to start moving, then you're going to start moving and you're not asking any questions. You know, I feel like, yeah, some of you guys have lost some friendships just because like that person wasn't moving, and their overthinking and all that other stuff caused you to overthink, and you realize like their presence was just a distraction. Like you didn't necessarily need that. You were right the first time, you know. And so now you're like, I'm just going for it. You know, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I have a little bit more knowledge than I did. I planned this out a lot more than I have in the past. And so I'm ready to see how it all unfolds and how it turns out. And so that is what you are moving towards, which is absolutely stunning. Okay, stunning, because you've been through it, especially with this Ten of Swords here. This is not a fun energy. It's not, especially in the heart, but August is going to be the completion of that. So you're either just stepped out of this, or August is going to be focusing on completing that. But be mindful that you might learn of some betrayal, but it's going to be very freeing. The truth shall, let's try that again. The truth shall set you free. Absolutely. So it might hurt, right? It really might hurt, but as soon as you wrap this up in this nice little ribbon in this bow, September, October, November, December, all the way to 2020, you are strategizing. You are focusing on your own abundance. You are making sure that you have the money in the bank to do what you want. You're not letting anybody tell you anything. And I think that right now, with all this internal energy, you've already been questioning yourself enough. You really don't need to have other people questioning you too. So that is really what I got for you. Pretty great reading. I hope that this resonates. You really will have to let me know in the comment section below. We're going to move into your oracles. But before we get started, guys, please don't forget to check out that description box below on information on how to book a personal reading with me. That includes information on the $25 15-minute special. Please just shoot me an email. Follow me on Instagram. And thank you so much for sharing, and subscribing to this video and supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. All right, let's go. What's going on? So we have you are good enough. Could be connecting with a Virgo. Emotions are running high. And let's get one more card, please. Two and one. All right. It's so funny. This combination, this Earth, the Virgo Scorpio combination has been coming out a lot. All right. So you are good enough. Emotions are running high, and work through your fears. Look, that's so beautiful. That's why I'm like, you're at like this really heightened state. And I think it's just because you had to deal with yourself in a way that like Aries just don't particularly like doing that. You know, one of my best friends, Moon and Aries, they don't like having to sit. It was just like, this was just not a fun time for you guys. I feel like July hit y'all harder than it hit other people, just because you really had to go dig into those emotions that you haven't even thought about for a very long time. Like, you make it a point to just keep it moving, and you just were unable to. For some of you guys, I mean, you had to like, you got sick when you were traveling and you had to stay. Like, it was like really kind of bizarre. Like, you went out on a date and it turned out being super weird, and you're like, well, I can't do that anymore, so now I have to stay home. Like, there's just like crazy things that happen that force you to kind of sit down and take a time out. And so it got you in your head, but now it's time for you to work through those fears. Instead of just ignoring them, address them, right? Don't just push it aside anymore. Actually deal with it so you can be super confident when you move into this next phase. So I feel like that's going to be July for you, is going to be working through those fears and those hesitations as you start moving forward, okay? And again, and I like this emotions are running high too, because you're also deeply intuitive. I know I don't see that here, but it's just like, be confident that your first mind is your right mind in this stage. You know, sometimes that's not always right. But I think that with this work through your fears and these two cards coming into balance, it's just like you have to learn how to trust your first mind again. It probably got you into some trouble, just like it always does. You know, sometimes your greatest superpower is your Achilles heel. But I feel like you need to come into balance with it. You know, instead of just charging for it, think about it a little bit more. Adopt some earth energy where you wouldn't have before. There's a song, it's called Free Written. And it goes, it's like, would have walked where I would have run before, would have talked where I would have used a gun before. It just goes back forward and it keeps doing that. So I feel like it's time for you to walk where you would have run before. It's time for you to, you know, speak up when you would have been quiet before, okay? And that's how you were. I feel like you were like that as a kid. Then you learned to not be like that. And now you're being asked to be like that again. But you're wiser for it, right? Which is that justice card. It's always this. This is how the scale works. So one extreme, now the extreme. So I feel like now it's teetering out, okay? Ooh. Sorry. Just got those cards in the previous reading, so I know that's poor shuffling on my part. All right. Let's see what we got here. Hey, we got milk and honey. Down with the sun card. Look at that, the rainbow, the sun will come out tomorrow. It's coming out. And then we have message in a bottle, okay? So you could be receiving some sort of communication or download. Somebody could be calling you. You could receive a letter, email. So just expect that. Possibly that has to do with your finances or something, or your resources. But it's happy news. It's really, really happy news. It's good news. It's grand news, okay? Milk and honey and message in a bottle. But milk and honey, I mean, yeah, it's sweet. Really sweet, sweet, sweet victory. Yeah. You do have a sweet victory that's on your horizon, and you're good enough. I want to say that this is something that you've certainly earned, you know. You've earned. It's coming out of nowhere in a sense. Like, blessings come out of nowhere, but it's because you put the karmic work into it, okay? So I do imagine you feeling a lot calmer about your situation because, again, you're going to feel that stability that you didn't know you were craving, but now you're getting it, okay? All right. And let's see. Animal spirit for Aries for August 2019, please. All right, so we got Raccoon, Inventor. Decide on what you really want. You have the ingenuity to claim it. Avoid being the trickster. We're going to start this again, so... All right, Raccoon, Inventor. Decide on what you really want. You have the ingenuity to claim it. Avoid being the trickster and practice integrity. You have many roles and can juggle them well. Okay? This is juggling. This is all about juggling. Again, this is all about integrity. So, again, and it's deciding on what you really want. And I feel like that's what you've been trying to do. Because like I said, you have all the tools in the toolbox to be successful. You have many roles to play. And you can play all of them, Aries. Just be confident in doing that. So, and just know that if you do it right the first time, you don't have to go back and do it again. I just heard that too. Do it right the first time. Plan right the first time. But go with your first mind. Decide what it is. And then start laying it down. Start making a game plan. Start writing it out. And if you're thorough now, then you don't have to go back and backtrack and be like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And I feel like that was one of the lessons that you learned throughout this last cycle, okay? So, Aries, thank you so much for your continued support to this channel. Again, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and check me out for that reading, the $25 15-minute special, all right? Good luck in August, guys. Peace. Until next time.